Welcome back to this week's edition of the Soulful Afro with Yvette Show, where we bring you the latest happenings in our community. And today we bring you a little closer to what I feel we've talked about on the show that's a very frequent incident for young men, young women, elders, everybody in our community as it relates to racial profiling. But the thing that makes this story hit home, and today is about home in so many ways, is that Mr. Terry and Miss Marva are childhood neighbors of mine in Panama. Mm-hmm. And I had the pleasure of also meeting Camilo Jr. And the three of them are joining me today on the Soulful Afro Show to speak about a couple of levels of things, to speak about Camilo's incident in being denied, but also what it meant to his grandparents in having to speak to him about racism and the different levels of racism that we were having to experience. So welcome, Mr. Terry, Miss Marva, and Camilo.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So is Camilo with us?
I'm here. Marva, she's having a call downstairs.
Okay. So
I'm Camilo Jr.
Yes, Camilo Jr. So tell us a little bit about what happened first. Let's start there.
Okay. Well, my friends had invited me to come out to a bar with them on Tuesday. So it's a regular Tuesday night at bar. I drove there, pretty far drive too. So I walked up. The bouncer checked my ID. He says, "All right, you're good to go." And when I started walking towards there, he goes, "Wait, hold up." I was like, "Oh, there's something wrong." He was like, "Yeah, you can't come in with your sneakers on." I was like, "Oh, what's wrong with my sneakers?" And they said, "We're not allowed. You can't come in with Jordans or Timberland boots inside our bar." I didn't see a dress code posted. I didn't see a dress code posted on anywhere on the establishment. I didn't see it on the website. I saw a regular bar. I saw people in there, gym shorts, just regular casual clothes. Some people just went in there comfortable. So I was asking them, like, "Hey, you guys don't let people with Jordans? That's crazy. Is there any way I can come in?" He's like, "Sorry, you can speak to my manager about it." And then at this point, my friends come out, like what's the holdup? And the manager goes, "We had an incident, last summer. It got really overcrowded and people got too wild. So we had to enforce a dress code, to make sure that everything stays not, under control." So, every other sneaker was allowed. You can come in with any sneaker. And I know about sneakers or sneakers. The only thing that's really different is the brand. But, my friend was like, "Come on, like, he came all this way. Please, can you let him in just this one time? Like, please." And they weren't having it. I was about to go home. And my friend was like, "You don't have these extra pair of shoes that you can let him borrow?" And he goes, "Well, I think I have some in my trunk." And he pulls out these Nikes, and literally they look like you probably cut grass to work out. And they're Nikes. They're beat up. I think he still got them in his trunk. That was the story, because it reeked really bad of gasoline. I had to throw them in my backyard because they made my whole room smell like gas. So I didn't understand the logic where my shoes weren't allowed to come in, but these were. I don't know what kind of dress code you're enforcing that. These very smelly sneakers are okay in your bar, but not like a clean pair of Jordans. Just because a little summer incident or something. I was pretty upset about it. And I was upset. So I let it go. I didn't try to get any stuff. But it wasn't when I brought it to the attention of my grandparents. They were very outraged, and they decided to speak up on it and reach out to like Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Now, when Camilo Jr., let me let me ask, when did you, did it hit you that this was, there's a level of racial profiling of you, the young man wearing the sneakers? There's issues with what people perceive people that wear Jordans, and it costs so much money. How do you go from the expensive Jordans to some beat up sneakers that look, unkept to let you go in? When did you realize that this was an act of racism?
Yeah, it was really it was really when I got home and I like sat down and thought like, you know what, that was really ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I should have just told them I should have just, left and not have worn the shoes and for any and I and everyone knows, a lot of young black males, we like Jordan sneakers.
Exactly.
Like Timberlands, those are the shoes that a lot of young black men like to wear. And I think I don't. They're nice shoes. I don't see why they were not allowed.
Yeah.
But any other Nike or Adidas or any other sneaker, was okay.
But not Jordans. Heads up to Michael Jordan, who may not donate a lot to the community, but this is what happens to black men when they wear their sneakers. But, I was saying to your grandfather, Mr. Terry, I want to go to you, that the look of young men today is you can be as sharp as heck and wearing Jordans. That's their look, Timberlands and Jordans. So to hear that a place, I can understand if they said no sneakers and they gave you shoes, but they didn't say no sneakers. They said no Jordans and gave you a pair of sneakers to wear. So, Mr. Terry, what did it feel like when Camilo came to you?
Well, first of all, let me just start by thanking you for giving us the opportunity to air ourselves for whatever the benefits might come from doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I particularly have a gratefulness for you and the media for putting this out.
Yeah.
I was shocked that this was an issue for getting in and out of clubs downtown Houston.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one part of it. But to see the what was acceptable describing this other shoe that you don't even give that away to the Goodwill stuff. We give away stuff to Goodwill that's a lot better than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's acceptable to go in. So I knew what was going on, but I needed to be contain myself a little bit and think about ways and what the next step might be. And I was very appreciative for your invitation to be a part of the show today.
Yeah. My thing with it is that it's one of those moments where, and Camilo speaks to it, you're so in the moment that you don't see it and you don't feel it. And one of the things that caught my attention, and the reason I really, aside from you being family in so many ways, is the fact that some of the comments on the Facebook page were like, not everything is race-based. And my question is, but when it is race-based, you can't go around it. I mean, this is very much institutional, race-based profiling, all of it. And I want the Soulful Afro audience to take a pause at some point, is to visit the Soulful Afro with Yvette Facebook page and see the picture of what he had on. I mean, this is some clean-cut, young man looking stuff, and to know that he had to go through this. I mean, you can't look at any rap artist or musician going into a space today and not looking the way Camilo was dressed.
Yes. And thanks for that acknowledgement. And I also want to thank Camilo for bringing this to my attention, because we're talking about a young adult, right?
Yeah.
And he's really on his own. And he didn't have to. I'm so appreciative that bringing it forward. I also appreciate you for taking the courage to step with us and to bring this to a greater audience. Because I don't know how many parents are out there knowing that Timberland was a profile, an element of profiling young black men. A question first that comes to my mind, and maybe somebody else might help me with it. What about those high-end shoes that I see the young sisters using? Is that something that they use to profile black women? I don't know. I just kind of thought.
But it just adds to the list of things, and it's something that I say, and you've probably heard me say in presentation. I can wear a suit, I can wear my regular clothes, and if someone already has an issue with my hair or my skin, it's gonna go down. Something's gonna happen. And when we tell the young man, okay, yeah, pull up your pants, I agree, yeah, they need to pull up their pants, but even when their pants are up, they're having to deal with this. And that's a reality that we need to speak on, because this could have ended bad. If Camilo wasn't a lane, in a way, because of how graceful he was raised. But if there's a level of anger, and you never know when it's going to come over, because I've had moments where things have happened to me that I didn't know I could get that upset. And if he didn't keep it in check, this could have ended really bad.
Absolutely. Actually, by the way, that's a point of work that merits some elaboration here. That you handle it well. You could have acted up, according to how they profiled you to be. But what happens with those situations? They'll call the local authorities and the police department, and we don't know what they're reporting. They might say, "Oh, we have somebody running crazy around here trying to offend our women." Or looking at, whatever it is. So the police is coming with a story, and when they look and see who it is, we have so many examples of how the segment of our population is treated.
Yeah.
Over took only 3 years or so.
Yeah. Camilo, I want to come back to you. What would you say one of your lessons learned here?
Right. I mean, the lesson I definitely learned is, as time progresses, hate still comes in different types of ways. Of course, it's illegal to tell, oh, you can't come in here because you're black, but there are ways that people try to go around it, and I think this is probably a more of an opportunity to become self-aware, because sometimes it's not until after I sit down and think about it where I realize racism is still here. It's not going anywhere. And this is part of the help of my grandpa. It's just becoming aware, and how can I acknowledge it, and how can I make other people aware? Because some people still don't understand how that was a example of racism. I want you to go into a club and with something, and I want someone that's not letting you because what you have on is not to their
exactly.
Exactly. I'm like, what? And then we go back to that comment that you made reference to. That's part of the complexity of the problem. When you try to resolve or remediate the problem in a controlled and reasonable way, you have people who have been so, I want to use the word colonized in their thinking. I said, no, that's good. That's what you're going to look good when you go in.
Yep.
When you look at the profile of the area, it looks like a joint to me. Don't think about a joint. I'm not talking about marijuana. I'm talking about a raggedy old place that you stop by and look at. You probably go in there and see women dancing on the table in wet t-shirts. That's the kind of situation that it seems like by just looking at the outside. I know that's a bad thing. But I wouldn't have gone in there. I don't.
But, that's where the age difference comes in and the generational, because, there were times, Mr. Terry, you in Panama, you hear that there were places that you can't go into. And then there's Camilo and my generation that we stand on your shoulders and those who came before you that have allowed us to go into spaces, and yet we still have to encounter incidents like this where we really can't enter those spaces, and this is 2016.
Right.
So
there's something that we failed to mention, and I want to just be clear with it right now, that it's his right to go wherever he wants to go.
mm-hmm.
We need to put that out there right now. This was not a private club; it's a public venue, and he just wanted to go there with some friends. That's a public right that he is defending as a current service member in the military forces.
Yeah.
He's protecting this same guy. I don't know who it was, but he's protecting his right to do business right where he's telling him, oh, you can't come in here because wearing a shoe. And by the way, I don't own those shoes. They look pretty good, but I don't own them because I can't afford them.
Mm-hmm. But that's what our young man, he's allowed to pay that money. He should be allowed to work hard and buy his sneakers and not feel that he's going to have to experience what he had to experience. So, I commend Camilo, you for how you addressed it. I commend you speaking up on it. I commend the fact that I know that your grandfather was not going to let this go by, because we need to speak this truth. We need to educate, because I'm also curious about who your friends were, how diverse were they, and did they really have understanding of your reality in that moment?
You want to comment on your friends?
Were your friends a diverse group of friends, and how did they view what was happening to you?
I mean, to be honest, it's hard when they never really, have to be like a victim of they never had to experience kind of things like that.
Okay.
So, I was upset about it, and I talked about it the next day with my friends, and, their response was, well, at least he gave you a pair of shoes. At least he didn't, say you have to go home, or my other people. Yeah, they are white. They're my friends, but they don't, the question speaks to, are they conscious of what it means to be you in this situation? Are they aware of it? And they tell you when he gave you a shoe, that's a great disconnect. And I'm answering, I know it's not my question.
Yeah, but I think this is an opportunity for you, Camilo, to teach your friends, to have a conversation with your friends. They'll never know that reality because they don't walk in your shoes. But at least they need to be aware that this is a reality that is absolutely existing in today's day and age.
You're absolutely right.
It
cannot be dismissed. It cannot be dismissed because he gave you a pair of shoes to replace the ones you have.
Absolutely.
I definitely have. I have, my friends who, oh, he gave you a pair of shoes. Technically, the clubs have rights to have whatever rules they have. But I have other friends that say, you know what, I could have walked in there with Jordan, and they probably would have never said anything to me.
Absolutely.
And they do it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
By the way, this comes as a second case of posting that I did. There was two lawyers of African American background that attempted to go into a separate club downtown. They were dressed in suits, and they were not allowed to go in.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've seen the news, but this kind of incident has been in the news. We had the man that was the student from UC Berkeley that spoke in Arab on a flight, and a woman felt unsafe because he was speaking in Arab to his uncle, and he was taken off the flight. And then another African American man with a disability flying. He's the head of an NAACP, and when he travels, he keeps the seat next to him free for his movement. And a man behind him was basically harassing him, and they heard it. Flight attendants heard it, but instead of moving the man that was threatening, they moved the African American man who turned around and said to him, "Why are you harassing me?" And he was removed.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of thing that we're seeing. So I thank you both for taking the time. Before we close out the segment, Camilo, what is your message to those listening and to young men out there? What would be your message?
Well, my message probably to young people my age, young black males, it probably be just I think it's important to be aware of when stuff like this happens, and I think it's important to educate people because I mean sometimes it comes to play like some people like lack of knowledge, and when people don't have like a lot of knowledge, this stuff like this happens, and I just this is really all we can do is arm ourselves with knowledge.
Absolutely.
And be aware of these type of situations that happen.
Absolutely.
And I think I think when stuff like that happens, use different resources. Stuff like this, I think this is a great way to approach a situation instead of retaliating violently or I think getting help from the community and support from I think that's what I think I would say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Terry. What's your last message?
My last message is on again to send this word out that the in quotation marks the dragon has not been extinct. we need to continue to watch our eyes over. Not only, by the way, I don't want to make this look and seem as it doesn't affect older people and even for that matter women. But in this case, we're talking about young black men.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But everybody needs to be educated. Everybody needs to be on the lookout and be protective of one another. And be ready to sometimes speak back to some of the insensitive comments that said everything is not about race in America. Not in such a played out because it isn't,
And my whole thing, whenever people say that to me, I get up with a fearless energy and freedom in my mind, even though I'm not walking into spaces where I completely feel free. But if I'm in a place that takes me to that place, then it is that. And people don't necessarily want to hear that because we do not walk around wanting to be in these situations. No one wants to be in these situations. So I thank you both for joining me. I hope folks tuned in. We're going to be saving this and posting it for those who missed it to be able to hear more of your reality. We'll be posting it on the Soulful Afro page. So thank you so much, Camilo. And thank you, Mr. Terry. Much love and admiration to both of you.
All right. Thanks again for reaching out to us.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Okay.